said that the American dream no longer exists. So I'm wondering if this is going to become the new normal. And if so, how are people going to survive? How are the future generations going to survive when we are in times now where people can't keep their head above water? You need a roommate, or you need a spouse, or you need a roommate, a spouse, and other people to actually stay afloat in your own home or to rent an apartment. People just are struggling. Food is at an all-time high. We've seen the prices creep up over the last couple of years. Stores are raising prices as well. Dollar Tree included. So Walmart is included. All of these stores are raising prices. Meanwhile, people are having a hard time getting by financially.
Nobody talking about the cost of living right now. Like, the cost of living right now is ridiculous. They want $75 to $100 for an application fee. Fuck, you need an application fee. If I'm like, if you either finna give me or you not. Like, you either finna accept me or you're not. They want 3 months to rent.
Did you guys see they just released a new article that says in 2025 to be able to afford the mortgage on just your average home, you need to be making at least $100,000 a year. It's just absolutely insane, because I believe the average income of people is around $50,000. Let's think about it. If you are making $100,000 a year, government's going to come sweep in and take 30% of that. So we got 70 left to play with. But then you got to consider, if you don't own a home already, you're paying rent. So let's take 20,000 off the top of that. We're left with 50. Average cost of health insurance last time I was quoted for a family was around $1,200 a month. So that's another about $14,500. And since you're making $100,000, you don't qualify for any type of assistance. So now we're down to like 35.5, around that. But we haven't talked about groceries. We're going to say if you have a family, you probably spend around $850 a month on groceries, because these costs are insane and keep going up. So now we're left with like $24,300. But I assume that y'all have vehicles. A lot of us have car payments, and insurance is going up as well. Average car payments around $500, and insurance generally $200 and up. So let's say $700 a month times 12, and that's only if you have one car. All right, so now we're left with less than $16,000 for the year. But we haven't talked about Wi-Fi. We haven't talked about gas costs, anything going wrong on your car, like fixing mechanical things. We haven't spoke about the power bill, the water bill, property taxes on your vehicles, toilet paper, paper towels, diapers, wipes. Oh, damn, I forgot about childcare. So if you have children and you don't have the ability to have someone watch them for you, average cost of childcare is about $2,000 a month. So that there's $24,000. We're already negative. It's insane to think we live in a world where $100,000 is nothing anymore.
We need to be asking ourselves, is this actually sustainable? And if so, what kind of quality of life are people going to have? And I think when all of this started coming to a point where people started noticing, it was, okay, you're overspending, or you're spending money on frivolous things. And I'm not saying that a lot of people haven't, done that, but I think we're moving away from that. I just think with everything increasing in price, again, you can go to the store today and buy an item for $5, and 2 days from now it's up to $7. And again, it's not just one, demographic of people that are being affected. I do feel like a lot of people across the United States are starting to, feel and see the effects of prices being increased. Whether it be a place to stay, a lot of people are getting priced out, and doing the homeless thing and living in their cars because they can't afford rent. Or, grocery store prices. A lot of people are going to food banks because they can't afford, to pay for things in the grocery store. We are also seeing cuts to different, government funded programs like Medicaid, food stamps. Food pantries have also been impacted as well. A lot of them have lost billions of dollars, millions and billions of dollars that have been funded to different companies, pantries across the United States. Some, areas have been impacted a little bit more, but there are cuts. And again, these food pantries rely on donations, which are down in general. Have government cuts and funding issues, that's going to have a heavy impact as to, how many people they're able to serve.
The economy in the United States sucks so bad. Like, is any other country struggling like we are in the United States, or is it just us? In Texas, minimum wage is still $7.25. Huh? Like, me and my best friend were just talking about this. What do you mean? People are struggling making $20 an hour. People are struggling making $30 an hour. It seems like you can't live in just a single, income based household. Like, you're gonna need roommates, or you're gonna need to be married, you're gonna need to be something. Like, how are we doing? Like, how are we doing this? Because I'm making the type of money I wanted to make 10 years ago, and now it don't even matter. I'm gonna have to make $100 an hour to even be remotely okay. Like, is any other country struggling, or is it just a United States type of thing?
Why is it so hard to buy a house? I'm in my 20s and I'm trying to buy a house, right? So I went to see a mortgage broker today, and he was basically telling me that if you make less than $60,000 a year and you have a car payment, you don't even have to have debt. Like, let's say that you don't have debt at all, because we don't have debt, right? But if you make less than 60 and you have a car payment, that puts you in the negatives. Like, right there, the only thing that you could apply for or you can qualify for will be a $200,000 house. If you live in Florida, you know that a $200,000 house, it's literally nothing. And I'm talking about not even a 2-bedroom house. That is nothing. So I'm like, how are we supposed to live? Like, how are we supposed to afford anything? We can't get a house. If you buy a car, it has to be, if you don't have the cash for it and you finance it, you can't finance a freaking $5,000 car or a $10,000 car, because you know it's gonna break down in less than 2 months, because it happened to me.
We've always been sold on the American dream. This young lady that we saw, she's in her 20s, and I feel that is amazing if you're in your 20s and can buy a home. That's such a big accomplishment. And it's like, it sounds like she's got a good head on her shoulders, like she is making the, decent money. But if you're making less than $60,000, is the American dream over for you? Like, can you actually obtain a home, and a home that is livable, not some, dilapidated place where people are overpricing things in the housing market anyways? But is this actually affordable? You just heard her say that she lives in Florida. So that money, even if she's able to qualify for a loan that's $200,000, she's just not going to be able to find anything. And I don't know if you guys know this, but there are a lot of companies and builders that are building communities, and they are making them so they are rent only. So you have to wonder how that comes into play. Is this part of a bigger plan? Because just all rent, communities, that's kind of like unheard of. Nowadays, like I said, it is becoming a thing, but typically in neighborhoods, you would see where most of the people have mortgages, and you would have places inside there where you can rent. But just a community that's built just based on being rentals, I think that's the sign of the times. Do you feel like the American dream is over? I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, you guys. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next video.